Breaking. Princess Leonor and Christian's unexpected royal moment stuns fans. Crown sparkles. A quiet palace corridor. A routine event. Nothing unusual. Until suddenly, everything changes. A glance. A touch. A moment no one saw coming. But here's the twist, it wasn't the moment fans expected. And what happened next sent shockwaves across Spain and around the world. It began on a crisp Madrid morning, the kind of morning that usually passes unnoticed in the grand rhythm of the Spanish monarchy. Princess Leonor, now confidently stepping into her responsibilities as the future Queen of Spain, had returned from her latest round of military training. The country knew she would appear that day beside her parents, King Felipe and Queen Letizia, and her sister, Infanta Sofia. But no one, absolutely no one, expected Christian to appear. Christian of Denmark, a young royal who had recently drawn the attention of European media for his quiet confidence, diplomatic poise, and rumored personal connection to Leonor. For months, speculation had simmered quietly online. Whispers, photos, tiny moments easily dismissed as coincidence. Until now, because what unfolded that morning was no coincidence at all. Leonor arrived first, calm, graceful, the future crown resting invisibly yet unmistakably on her shoulders. She greeted officials, waved to the crowd, and carried herself like a young monarch who understood both duty and destiny. Her poise was unmistakable, her confidence unwavering, but then the energy shifted. A car door opened. A tall figure stepped out. There he was, Christian. The cameras scrambled. Fans gasped. The air changed. Because this wasn't an official joint appearance. This wasn't on the public schedule. This wasn't supposed to happen. And yet, it did. Their eyes met. Just for a second. But it was enough. Enough to spark questions. Enough to reignite rumors. Enough to make thousands of viewers watching live blink twice and ask themselves if they'd just witnessed something history would remember. The unexpected moment began innocently enough. Leonor stepped toward him, her expression softening in a way that royal watchers recognized instantly. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just real, human, a split-second spark that cameras rarely capture. Then came the moment that truly stunned fans. Christian bowed slightly, a gesture of respect that went beyond protocol. A gesture that carried intention, warmth, a hint of something unspoken. Leonor responded not with a formal nod, but with a smile, small, controlled, but undeniably genuine. That smile became the photo seen around the world. And the curiosity loop opened instantly. Why was Christian there? Who invited him? Was it planned? Was it personal? Or was this the royal moment everyone secretly hoped for? To understand the depth of this moment, you have to understand their journeys. Leonor, now deep in her military training, has been stepping forward publicly in ways Spain has never seen from her before. She is becoming the symbol of a new era. Strong, disciplined, dedicated. The public sees her as the poised future queen, the bridge between Spain's long history and a modern future. Christian, on the other hand, stands at the threshold of his own royal evolution. The Danish future king in waiting. He too has been shaped by duty, expectation, and the weight of centuries-long tradition. Their worlds are separate, their obligations defined, and yet their paths keep crossing. And fans have noticed. Because every time Leonor and Christian are seen together, be it at European gatherings, Royal Academy events, or quiet family ceremonies, there is a subtle tension in the air. Not the tense kind, the magnetic kind, the kind that draws attention because it feels like something authentic is unfolding beneath the polished royal surface. Back in Madrid that morning, the two stood side by side as the cameras captured every micro-expression, every breath, every whisper of body language between them. And what stood out most wasn't romance or drama. It was familiarity, comfort, warmth, as though this wasn't their first private moment together, and wouldn't be their last. But then came the twist. King Felipe approached. His expression was composed, royal, dignified, but attentive. He greeted Christian with a handshake that lasted just a fraction longer than expected. A handshake that said more than words ever could. Not disapproval, not tension, something else, something protective, perhaps, observing, measuring. Queen Letizia joined next, offering a polite smile but a keen, assessing gaze. Not unkind, not cold, Simply, aware, as mothers often are, and in that brief exchange, fans believed they saw the beginning of a deeper story. Because the moment Christian stepped closer to Leonor, Sophia appeared behind them, her expression lighting up with a hint of playful curiosity. She watched them with that younger sister energy, half supportive, half teasing, fully aware of the subtle chemistry unfolding before her. And then it happened, the unexpected royal moment that would go viral. Leonor reached out, not dramatically, not boldly, but in a gesture that appeared almost instinctive, and lightly touched Christian's arm. A small gesture, a human gesture, the kind of gesture that doesn't appear in protocol manuals, the kind that tells a story. The crowd reacted instantly, audible gasps, cheers, murmurs, phones lifted in the air capturing that exact second. And Christian didn't step back. He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice to speak only to her, their expression softening into a shared moment that no camera could fully decode. And with that, a new curiosity loop formed. What did they whisper? Was it personal, or official? Was this a reunion, or the beginning of something new? The truth, as it often is with royals, remains hidden. But the emotion in their expressions told a story no statement could. From that moment on, the event took on a different tone. Reporters shifted focus, cameras realigned, analysts scrambled to rewrite their notes. Because what was supposed to be a routine royal appearance had suddenly become a moment for the history books. As the ceremony continued, fans noticed more subtle interactions. Glances exchanged during speeches, small smiles that only the two seemed to understand. A brief moment where Leonor stepped back and Christian instinctively mirrored her movement, as if they existed in the same rhythm. These small moments became the foundation of a larger narrative. A narrative of two young royals, each from powerful European families, navigating duty, future responsibility, and possibly, just possibly, an emotional bond forming quietly beneath the surface. Royal watchers began comparing their dynamic to other iconic royal relationships of the past. Some spoke of Felipe and Letitia's early days, filled with secrecy, tension, and public fascination. Others recalled European royal couples whose unexpected meetings changed the course of history. But what made this moment extraordinary wasn't the romance speculation. It was the humanity of it. The unmistakable authenticity. The way it broke the rigid expectations of royal formality without crossing into impropriety. Because later, when the official proceedings concluded, another unexpected moment occurred. Leonor and Christian walked side by side toward the palace entrance. There were officials to greet, cameras to acknowledge, protocol to follow. But for a few seconds, they drifted slightly away from the group, still visible, still proper. But momentarily alone in the flow of the procession. And that's when Leonor laughed. A real laugh. Soft. Genuine. The kind of laugh she rarely shows in public unless she feels safe. Christian smiled back, his expression softening in a way the public rarely sees. It was only a second. But it was enough. Enough to send fans into a frenzy. Enough to stir new questions. Enough to reinforce the belief that something meaningful was happening between them. And the final moment that sealed the day came as Christian prepared to leave. He turned toward Leonor one last time, bowed gently, and gave her a look, a sincere, respectful, unmistakably warm look, that left both fans and analysts speechless. Leonor's expression softened in return. No overreaction, no dramatic gesture, just a quiet moment of connection. A moment that felt like a promise. Or a beginning. Or perhaps a chapter already unfolding behind palace walls. And so the curiosity deepens. Was Christian's visit planned as a diplomatic gesture? Or was it something personal? Did the royal families approve? Or were they observing carefully, preparing for possibilities still unspoken? Every answer opens a new question. Every moment deepens a new mystery. But one thing is certain. What happened that morning was not just an unexpected royal moment. It was a turning point, subtle, powerful, and unforgettable. A moment that reminded Spain, and the world, that behind the crowns, duties, and centuries of tradition, there are hearts. Emotions, connections, stories unfolding quietly yet unmistakably. And the story of Princess Leonor and Christian has only just begun.